We're busy with the Dart South Africa Nationals. Mr. Stark, just to introduce himself, his capacity and his role that he's playing here at the DSA Nationals.
Good morning, everybody. Like Stephen has said, my name is Graham Stark, and I'm the elected president of Dart South Africa. And my role is to play an oversight role within the organization and supervise my fellow officials and ensure that everything runs smoothly in our federation.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Graham Stark. Mr. Stark, if I can just ask you, so far the Nationals has been on since Saturday was an Open, that was the Western Cape Open, and then on Sunday we started with the Provincials and the Masters and so on, and now we are busy with the Opens, the doubles and singles. So just an overview of how's the National so far for the week?
Well, Stephen, thus far it's been a wonderful week of competition, but not only competition, socializing amongst our members, rekindling old friendships, people who have seen each other last at the previous Nationals. And so now they, in addition to playing darts, they rekindle those friendships. And then, of course, the newcomers coming into the sport and playing at Nationals for the first time and developing new friendships amongst all these dart players who fundamentally at the end of the day, they are citizens of our country, and it brings us together as fellow South Africans within the atmosphere that we have here at the darts. Thus far, it's been a very successful week, a wonderful week of competition. We have approximately just over 1,000 of our members from all 9 provinces throughout the country competing at this national championship. And the standard of play has been very good thus far. When I checked yesterday, there were 2 by 170 closes, and the number of 180s recorded is mounting. So the players are doing well. There's a wonderful spirit amongst them. There's a wonderful atmosphere in the playing venue, and we are very satisfied with the way things have gone this week.
That's good. Thank you very much, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, for those viewers that's now watching that this sport of darts, not knowing what is Dart South Africa and the impact that it has in our country, how big it is, can you just give us a quick overview of the role of Dart South Africa or the mandate of Dart South Africa within our country?
Yeah, first and foremost, I need to emphasize that Dart South Africa is the only official national federation for the sport of darts in the Republic of South Africa. And our mandate, our government-given mandate, is to promote and develop the sport of darts throughout the country. And we can proudly say that we have member structures in all 9 provinces. Like I said, Dart South Africa is the official national federation for the sport of darts in South Africa. We are affiliated to SASCOC. We are affiliated to African Union Sports Council, Region 5 Darts Confederation. We are affiliated to the African Darts Council, and in addition to that, we are affiliated to the World Darts Federation. And within our midst, in addition to our membership, which is throughout the 9 provinces, as I've already said, we also have the disability darts incorporated into Dart South Africa, and we also have the South African corporate darts incorporated into our membership ranks. So we are truly representative of the dart players throughout the country, and we enjoy the government mandate that we are recognized as the official national federation, and within our country only one federation is recognized for each sporting code in the country, and for the sport of darts, that federation is Dart South Africa.
Okay, thank you very much. So that means any darting related matters within the country, when government wants to know something, everything, they come to Dart South Africa. The mandate is straight from the government and SASCOC to say that when there's any problems within darts, we are accountable for Dart South Africa is accountable for that.
Yeah, that is correct. And that's a rather serious situation, because it's a lot of responsibility and accountability within the organization, because we have to account to the Department of Culture, Arts and Sport at the national level for all the activities within the organization, how we administer, how we are governed, and how we utilize the funds that we receive, because as a national federation, we are funded by our membership fees, but we also receive a grant from National Department of Sport, and we are very grateful for that. But in order to qualify to receive the grant, you have to exercise proper administration and governance. And I'm proud to say that in the case of Darts South Africa, there has never been an instance where we have not received funding. So that in itself says a lot. It says that we are practicing good governance, we are accountable, we are transparent, and we really practice good management and administration.
Okay, thank you. Just one thing, Mr. Stark, can you tell us what opportunities does Darts South Africa offer the players?
Darts South Africa offers all our members, all our players, the opportunity to play the sport of darts all year round. All year round. There are darting activities throughout the country all year round. For all categories of players, we have our junior players, we have our junior boys, junior girls, we have our senior men, our senior ladies, we have our masters, ladies and men, we have our players with disabilities, and we have the corporate sector. So at all levels, we provide playing opportunities throughout the year. The member joins a club, he plays for his club against other clubs. The group of clubs forms an association. So within that association, the clubs play against each other. The associations, they form a district. And within that district, the associations play against each other. And out of those districts, you get your district teams. And finally, you then get your provincial teams, which comes out of the districts in our country. And then at the higher level, obviously they come to nationals, as we are here now. And then all the provincial players, they compete for selection into our provincial teams. And our masters, they compete to get selection into our masters teams, as well as the juniors, because they are eligible for selection into the South African junior boys and the South African junior girls teams. And at those levels, when they are selected, they then compete internationally on the African continent and also in the World Cup of the World Darts Federation. So that basically are all the playing opportunities provided for the players.
Okay, thank you. So of course also we have the opens that we play, so also associations or players can play their opens in their various provinces or board games and things like that they can play. But Darts South Africa also, like in the past, had open events where it was hosted in provinces for also playing opportunities. Is there any plans for future open events as well?
Yes, we have had opens up till last year, and with a prize money of 110,000 rand, and it's an open competition, open to DSA members only, however, and they then play in the competition and compete for the prize money. This year, our nationals is hosted in the province of the Western Cape, and what we've done this year is that we have delegated the playing of the organization and the playing of that opens competition to the hosting province, which is Western Cape Darts Federation. But we do intend to have future open competitions as well. We just need to source the prize money from potential sponsors and so forth, and then we will once again give our players those opportunities to play in these open competitions and to win prize money.
Okay, thank you. One last question before I let you go, Mr. Stark. Development initiatives. What is that? Anything that you have that's currently ongoing? Any development initiatives that you have?
Stephen, Darts South Africa does have a development program. At the moment, our big focus is on school darts, and we develop school darts by way of our program, which is known as the 180 Plus program. It's a program devised by one of our members, and we utilize that particular member as well as his program to approach schools. We do not go directly to schools at first. We follow the proper protocols. We get permission from the education department because they are the custodians on behalf of the minister. They are the custodians of the schools. So we get permission from the education department, and then we approach the individual schools and we discuss with the principal and the educators, and we sort of persuade them to adopt darts as a school code. Once they agree to adopt darts as a school code, we then introduce the sport to the educators. And if the educators do not know the rules of darts or the techniques and so forth, we teach them, because school sport is supposed to be organized, administered and managed by the educators. And the National Federation, in this case Darts South Africa, has to provide technical support and assistance to the educators. We do not get to run the sport. That is the mandate of the educators because of the extracurricular program of that particular school. The school decides which extracurricular activities, including sport, they will participate in, and then it's up to the educators. So the framework for school sports in the Republic of South Africa requires that school sport is managed, organized, administered by the educators, nobody else. However, the National Federation must provide support. So we do not run the school sports as a federation. And that applies to all sporting codes and all the different federations for the different codes. We introduce, we help the school to implement, the school does everything, we support. So whatever structures are formed for school sport must be formed by the educators, because educators have a responsibility to do their pastoral duties and their extracurricular activities. Sport is one of the extracurricular activities where they also implement their pastoral duties. It's not for us. We are not the educators. We do not perform pastoral duties in the school. That's the mandate of the educators. Once a school decides to have the code as one of their codes, the school provides the budget as per the framework, and we provide only the support.
Okay. On that note, Mr. Stark, can I ask you, once the school, the educators administer the sport, they're playing darts at the schools, how do they get integrated into the Darts South Africa, into the clubs, associations? What is the process? Once they started, they play now at the school, but obviously they need to get into the structure of Darts South Africa.
Yeah. The intention is that as schools that they play against each other, and we have thriving school leagues within certain education districts. For example, Metro South Education District and Metro East Education District in the Western Cape. They are well advanced in playing inter-school darts already. But the other districts, they're getting there. We've introduced it. The teachers have been trained. We're getting there. But South and East seem to be way ahead of Central and North and so forth. So the schools play against each other, and from our side, we want them to play for their schools while they are at school. But the school sport needs to be administered, and it needs to be played according to the framework for school sports. And within that framework, there is a memorandum of understanding that has been signed between the National Minister of Sport and the National Minister of Basic Education. And we subscribe to what is contained in the document. And that is why we can say that the school sport must be organized and administered by the educators, because that is what is required. When they play for the schools, they are welcome to then also move over to a particular club, which is perhaps in the area where they live or in the area where the school is. Bearing in mind that not all learners live in the area where the school is. So they can play for a school in a certain area, but they can join a club in another area because they may perhaps live in a different area. Now, once they join our structures, they are free to play for the school and for the club because it's a school sport. So if the learner attends that particular school, he is entitled to and well within his rights to play school sport for that particular school. And when he plays for his club, that is a different scenario completely. And that is the aim of our development program, that ultimately the players whom we develop, and in this case school children via the schools and with the support of the schools and the educators, our ultimate objective is that they will join our structures and become members as juniors, under 18 juniors, and then progress through the ranks of becoming senior players and so forth. And thus far it is working very, very well, because if we take the year that has just gone by, I don't have a number off the top of my head, but many learners have joined clubs and they are doing well. But in addition to that, they also play in the school league for their schools, which we desire, because while they're at school, they should play within that context and they should represent within that context.
Okay, thank you. But in order for that learners to be recognized, to come in contention for Protea selection and all of that, they must be with the association and with the province, so that they can represent the province and come to the nationals.
Yeah, that is correct. If they want to represent the country as a dart player, then they must play within the ranks of Dart South Africa and get selected by Dart South Africa. However, if they're going to represent a school structure, let's say a South African school side against another school side from another country, that needs to be done by the educators, because it is a school matter. So all the controlling bodies for school sport, it doesn't matter at which level it is, from the school upwards, all those structures must be set up by nobody else, none other than the educators. Not the federation, not me, not our members, nobody else but the educators. So if you're going to have, for example, a Western Cape schools team to play against a Gauteng schools team, those teams are selected by the educators because they play within the schools network. And also the documents clearly state that the federation must be recognized. All SASCOP federations must be recognized, and those SASCOP federations must provide the support. So if the school plays chess, for example, then Chess South Africa will provide the support. If they play darts, then Darts South Africa will provide the support.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Stock. And then, of course, I heard with the opening ceremony, it was said that Dart South Africa donated 30 dartboards to the Western Cape Youth Academy. What is the Youth Academy? Just a quick, where is it, or what? How does DSA support the Youth Academy?
Yes, that is a wonderful venture that was started by a group of players, DSA affiliated players in the Western Cape. And they established the Western Cape Darts Academy, and they are doing well, but they also of great help to us in fulfilling our social responsibilities towards members of the community. By that I mean, they don't only play darts, they perform our social responsibilities. As citizens of the country, we have a responsibility to develop our youth, to develop our people, so that they can become successful South African citizens and make a meaningful contribution to society. And the wonderful thing is that they are doing it through a sport, in this case darts. It happens in other sport codes as well. So the academy has been set up, and what happens in the afternoon after school, many of our youth, when they leave school, they go home to an empty home. We call them latchkey children. They have the key to the home because their parents are in work, there's nobody at home. So they have the latchkey and they have to let themselves out in the morning, lock up, go to school. And then in the afternoon when they come home, they use the latchkey to open the home and they are at home. And that leaves space and scope for mischief. Like they say, the devil finds work for idle hands. So the academy then in the afternoon after school, takes them off the streets, and they come to the academy where they are fed a meal by the academy, and then they have to do their homework. And once that is done, then the academy people coach them to play darts. So the hope there is also that they will then play for their school, but ultimately they will emigrate into our structures. So the academy is doing wonderful work, but of course finance is always a problem. So to assist them, Darts South Africa has donated 30 dartboards to the academy to keep that program going. But having said that, we donated the dartboards, we are also very grateful to our sponsor, which is Unicorn Dartboards through Opal Sport. So they have made it possible for us to make that donation to the academy.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the president of Darts South Africa giving you an overview of what is happening with darts in South Africa. And then of course, tomorrow evening we will have our closing ceremony, which will be live streamed. So you can watch on our DSA Facebook page tomorrow evening the closing ceremony with the handing over of all the trophies, the awards to the recipients of the various section winners. And then of course later on today I will also be streaming some of the youth finals. We've got the boys and girls finals, we've got mixed pairs finals, so that will also be streamed. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. If you're still in Cape Town area and want to come and say hello, pop in here at the Velodrome Center and come and join us here for the last 2 days. Thank you very much for watching with us. Thank you, Mr. Stock.
Thank you very much.
All of the
Stephen.
best for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.